years at a time. So we have to be patient about it.
Karthik, one of the big shifts that at least I'm seeing is that when we discuss in our investment committees, the
Yeah,
decision to be able to invest in a particular fund,
yeah,
unlike ever before, the focus on DPI has gone up very significantly. How
yeah,
much liquidity a fund has been able to return to
yeah,
their LPs. And sometimes there is a debate saying that in terms of the long-term value creation versus the need to get to a faster DPI, there's
yeah.
usually a bit of a trade-off that happens where you may have to let go of some of your assets to increase the DPI, which you may have wanted to hold on for a longer period of time. So
Yeah.
how do you guys internally see that kind of a trade-off between the DPI versus the long-term returns?
So my advice in general is that DPI is generally going to be broken for you in about four components. I'll explain that. There is early natural M&A that happens in every portfolio. Okay, you
Mhm.
can call it distress sale. You can call it you can call it strategic sale, trade sale, whatever. There's a very natural process to which about 5, 8, 10 companies in a portfolio get sold and give your capital back or so. Some give 2x, some give 3x, some give 5x, but it's on a very small percentage of the fund. So वो कुल मिला के आपका 30, 40, 50% DPI हो सकता है, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं हो सकता. By the sixth, seventh year. By the sixth, seventh year, people want to see some part of their capital come back, right? So this is the only natural DPI that you can generate, and because nothing else is broken out typically to massive scale yet, that you're able to get secondary purchases done. Then
Right.
come the first chances of secondary purchases come when you cross a half a billion or a billion. I'm talking about an institutional manager. I'm not talking about angel investors who can sell much earlier. You have too much stake. I don't think you can sell that. Selling that 1-2% sometimes doesn't make a dent at all. So whether it's Fireside or Stellar is selling in Mama Earth or Port or they were all meaningful chunks for that size of a fund. In our
Mm.
first fund, our challenge was it took a long time for our companies to hit 200 million, 500 million. So even if I could have sold, I wouldn't have made enough money at 20, 30, 50 million. So it has to be a chunk. I would suggest that if the sale is not generating 5-10% DPI on the fund, I'm not a fan of selling. It's useless,
Right.
right? Uh, if one or two positions can somehow fundamentally give you, you sell 50% of a position and get to 1x DPI, I think it's great signaling to show that you're willing to sacrifice in the short term to invest for the long term, right? So then people say, oh, these guys are willing to show us that they can make money and give us back money. It's a muscle that we appreciate, so we should give them more money because they have the discipline to be able to sell if it comes to it. That's what some LPs are looking for. And then comes the two big things, right? Which is, it crosses the unicorn mark, it either goes public or if there's a big M&A, then you get a lot of DPI potentially or ability to liquidate. And around that mark is when the stock is hottest and various people want to buy your stake out. So it's much more easy to liquidate and get big chunks of capital. So I think you should budget in this fashion, but ideally shoot for the idea that you're at least trying to get as close to all the capital back in the investor's pocket as quickly as possible. There's no perfect rule of thumb here, but somewhere between the 7th, 8th, 9th year, if you can give all the capital back, then people will allow you to breathe easy. Then when you reach the 10th year, hopefully you're giving at least half of your MOIC back. Because people are saying, boss, it's been 10 years. You're not all going to give it to me magically at the end of the 12th year. So then start showing me that you can at least sell half of it, right? And so that's kind of what I anticipate is your DPI path. I don't think you are so much in control of it as you think you are. So this is the best
Right.
case, I think.